Hello and welcome. It's Bio here. So this is the PS5 version of World of Outlaws Dirt Racing. Yeah. So when I click on this and you watch that video, you have to watch it. You can't skip it the first time. I think you could skip it after, but you can't skip it the first time. So you kind of have to watch it again. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Don't blame me. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into it.
Dirt track racing is rooted in local tracks all across America. Every successful driver has been a local hometown hero at some point, and then moved up to regional events and ultimately into the national level with the World of Outlaws. I think it's really important at the local level to, build your fan base, interact with your fans, interact with the local community. It's very important to, be learning and try to become that hometown hero. Obviously, as you move into the regional level, you got to earn respect. You got to win races outside of your hometown. Once you're at the national level, you have a lot more people relying on you. It becomes a lot more of a job. You have to have a lot of mental toughness. It's a grind out here.
It's easy to say that you want to go race with the Outlaws, but when you pack your bag and you load your trailer with stuff and you head out on the road, it's like a beatdown. It's probably one of the toughest things physically, mentally, financially, all the above. And you get run down when you're a weekly racer or you can pick and choose. You get to go home if things aren't right. You hit the reset button. When you're outlaw tough, there's no reset button. There's when it starts, there's no stopping.
My main mentors growing up through racing was my dad. He was always there with me through go-karts. And then, as I got a little bit older, I leaned on, Casey Kane quite a bit. Sponsorship is obviously really important in racing. I've been fortunate to have some great sponsors along the way. One key to running a successful race team is obviously the people that you have around you. It all starts with a great crew chief, great tire guys, and you gotta have great marketing people to help pull it all together. So it's important to have a great team around you.
When you dream of being in this sport as a child, you just dream about being a sprint car driver. And then when you become a sprint car driver, you dream of being an outlaw and you're racing with the greats that there are, the Steve Kinders, the Sammy Swindells. You never really can put to the ground the fact that maybe you're going to be in that position one day where you're one of those guys.
Now it's your turn to take your shot. Your goal is to build up a solid reputation, sign sponsorship, and continue to grow your organization, all while winning lots of races. But no matter what path you take in your career, your ultimate goal is to become a World of Outlaws Series champion. Good luck out there. We're all rooting for you.
We're in Indiana today. The track is green.
So other than what loading and maybe a slight higher, like maybe a slightly higher resolution. Other than those two things, I mean, it doesn't really seem like it looks any different or even plays any different. So I may mostly just play the PS4 version, just because of the fact that I don't believe that this game was really supposed to be on next gen systems. I know it says 2022, I believe is when it was released, but I don't know. I just get the feeling that it just wasn't really supposed to be on next gen systems because if that's it for upgrades, I mean, it doesn't seem like they were really focused on the next gen systems when it comes to this game. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna keep both versions installed, maybe. But I think it's mostly just because there is no cross generation or cross play. So if you're on PS5, you play against PS5 players. You play the PS4 version, you play against PS4 players. So I'm pretty sure that's how it works on here. But yeah.
I know it's tough in these first few events. I remember when I was just starting out at my local track many years ago. But you're doing great. Just keep focusing on doing your best and try to get into as many features as you can. The sponsors out here like to see consistency. If you do that, your fan base will start to build and you'll be heading out to regional events in no time. Just remember to sink as much money back into your car as possible. It will help you stay competitive. Good luck out there.
Okay. I think I'm gonna. I think that's blah, blah, blah. I think that's all I'm gonna do on this one for now. Um, because I think the main way I'm gonna start playing is just more or less just the PS4 version. Because the PS5 version is sort of just a pointless kind of version, if that makes sense. Because it's like on Xbox, that's a little different. Because when I played on the Xbox Series X, I played the Xbox One version and the Series X version. However, on that one, the resolution difference is big enough to where playing the Series X version would be better just because of the fact that when you look at the front tires and you try to look inside where like the steel is, for some reason the resolution on the one version, the Xbox One version, is probably right around 900p or lower because it seems a little blurry-ish around that area, and it just seems a little, you know, it just don't seem very clean or clear in that specific area, if that makes sense. So it's like, it's just weird, you know. It don't, it's obviously a resolution difference on there. But when you play the Series X version, it's fine. But on here, the PS4 or the PS5 version seem about the same. I mean, even the same little, freaking same little itty bitty artifacts are still in it too. I mean, it's weird, but like maybe a little slight shimmer, um, also. But yeah, no, it's just it doesn't seem to really make much of a difference whether it's the PS4 or PS5 version. They both seem basically the same. I mean, other than a slight difference in maybe loading times and a slight difference in friggin' resolution, but it doesn't seem to be a big enough jump for it to really be worth playing the PS5 version over the PS4 version, if that makes sense. Uh, but I'll play them back to back. I'll do a little bit more, research on them, like physical research, like going back and forth and kind of looking at them and maybe seeing if it's more than just like how much of a resolution difference it is, and because it could be like 1080p to like 1440p or something, and that's not really much of a difference clarity wise. You know what I mean? Um, Performance wise, they're both 60 FPS on the PS4 or PS5. As long as you play the PS4 version on a PS5. Because if you play it on a PS4 or a PS4 Pro, I believe it's still 30 FPS. Um, so yeah. Uh, for now though, hopefully you enjoyed. And if you did, please give it a big fat thumbs up. Maybe subscribe. If you do, please turn your post notifications on. Make sure to set them to all. Thanks for watching. Have a great and blessed night, and I'll catch you later.